Hello, and welcome to today's episode. I'm going to be your host, the Irrelevant Nerd. Today, we're going to be talking about Was I Wrong About the Batman 2022? So, let's start with my initial opinion of the movie. When I saw it, it was a week after the movie had come out. I had seen all of the initial good reviews and was very excited to go see it. Went and saw it with some friends of mine, and I walked out of the movie feeling like it was okay, but not particularly good or great. Like a B minus on its best day, but if I was being honest with myself, maybe a C plus. And I ended up kind of souring on the movie over time. Like, my opinion got worse the more that I thought back about the things that I didn't like about the movie. And so I never rewatched it until, for whatever reason, yesterday I saw it on HBO, felt like checking it out again, so watched it, and my opinion has changed on this movie drastically. So it's a very good movie. I like it a lot. It's I don't know if it's the best Batman movie. I think it is in a lot of ways, but I do think there are some things that hold it back a little bit, but we'll get to those later. First, we'll start with the pros. The intro for Batman in this movie is spectacular. Him coming in on those gang of dudes and just beating the shit out of them. It is such a strong intro to the character, and it builds this kind of great atmosphere around the character because it shows how people, these gang members initially sort of respond to him, and how characters kind of continue to respond to him throughout the movies. So this is easily the best on-screen Gotham for me. I think it really kind of shows that this town is just the worst. There are shots that show they're just random fires in the road, it looks like, because there's damage and potholes have formed there, and people have thrown garbage in there and whatever, but it really shows that Gotham is just a shithole. And of all of the live action Batman movies, I think this is the only Batman movie that you can say that this is a investigation story. Like, it's the one that displays that he is the world's greatest detective, which is something that the other movies have frankly just been missing. Like, definitely there is an investigation aspect to The Dark Knight, but that's not really what the movie's built around. It's just part of the movie to get to the main objectives. So I really loved the mystery aspect of it. The detective work done by Batman and Gordon together I thought was really compelling, and I thought that they had really great chemistry on screen. Same with Catwoman. Robert Pattinson and Zoe Kravitz I thought did really, really well together, especially considering in all of their faces, or in all of their scenes together, the only face that you ever see is hers. She never sees his face, but you can just feel this connection that they have, and I think it's really good. And even the Penguin, Colin Farrell, did just a spectacular job, and also had great on-screen chemistry with almost everybody he was in a scene with. And so all of the actors they cast really, really nailed it, and I was surprised. Admittedly, I did not love Robert Pattinson as the choice for Batman. Like, I'm not a hater on him because, like, the Twilight movies or anything. Like, he made a ton of money off of those. Good for him. But I just didn't see it when they announced it. But I really thought he did a spectacular job, and he just had this great presence. And like I'd said earlier, you could see how, he'd step into a crime scene, and how these police officers and other detectives would just, stare at him and be, scared of him or in awe of him, depending on which one you were looking at. But I really thought he did a good job of just nailing like the Batman vibe. And I liked his Batman voice, just a little bit lower, a little bit raspier, but nothing too kind of the comical effect in the Dark Knight. Like, don't get me wrong, I love The Dark Knight, but his Batman voice in that movie can be over the top at times. I do feel like it actually works in the movie at times, but definitely goes overboard. But he did such a good job, like even when he's going and investigating the first murder of the mayor, and he looks over and he sees the mayor's son sitting there, you can just see how much it affects him. And all you can really see is his eyes and the lower half of his, his jaw. And he just really sells it. I thought he did a fantastic job. And I really liked how you could tell that he cared, or even when oh man, what was his name? Gil drove the car in to the funeral, and when he drives in, you see Bruce Wayne immediately jump for that kid, and that's all he's concerned about, and tries to get him out of the way. And I really actually thought that was probably his best moment, when he's like Bruce Wayne, not Batman. I thought his suit was pretty cool. It's aesthetically, I don't know if it's my favorite. I think that might actually be Ben Affleck's suit, but I'm not sure, but I did like it. I thought a lot of the gadgets were pretty fun, like the wrist grapple, just kind of shooting out and coming out there, not something that he has to like grab off his belt. Actually, I thought that was a really cool idea, and the few times that it came out, very badass. The symbol on his suit, thought it was really cool how it could either come out as individual pieces or as one giant piece to be a tool that he used. And I thought that was kind of a really cool aspect of the suit, to have it be a functional symbol. I didn't love the color of the suit. That's probably my least favorite aspect, and probably kind of what throws the whole look off for me. I understand that there is precedence for it in comics, and I've seen it in comics and liked it in there. I didn't love it here. I thought it looked just kind of just a little off. And I think that the overall feel of the movie, fantastic. The investigation story, kind of the mystery aspect of it, and the world it's set up. Like, Gotham is shitty, but I really kind of like how it was fantastical. Obviously, it's a comic book movie, but it was a very grounded world, and I'm very excited for how they might be able to kind of expand upon this world. I see like Court of Owls being a great villain for this version of the Batman, whether or not they do that in the second one or the third one, because they are planning on doing a trilogy. It's the Great Crime Saga, something like that. But I'm here for more of it, because I think that the world they set up is just fantastic. But like I said, I do think there are some things that just hold the movie back just a little bit. I did like Robert Pattinson as Batman quite a bit, and I did like that moment of Bruce Wayne saving the kid at the funeral, but I really did not care much for his version of Bruce Wayne at all. It's just a little too broody, which I understand is the tone of the movie, and can fit the character well, but there is a difference between being stoic and being like broody or moody even. And I would have liked to have seen, I don't know, just a little, pump the brakes on the brooding just a little bit. And I thought this initially was probably my least favorite thing the first time I watched it, and it again really bothered me, even though I did see some moments that I liked. I don't like his relationship with Alfred at all. He is shitty and disrespectful to him in a way that I just don't think suits the character at all. I just find it weird that he's, giving him like the "you're not my dad" kind of just, plays into the emo Bruce Wayne that they're going for, and I get that, but I just like it when he appreciates Alfred. Like, he in other movies has even said that Alfred's not his dad, but it's done it like with a different tone, and they seem to respect him just a little bit more. And I just don't like how similar his Bruce Wayne is to his Batman. I understand that is something that Batman traditionally has to learn in the movies, or the Christian Bale movies at least, of how to balance and kind of, that's your disguise. And I'm 100% fine with him not having that public persona yet, but in private, like Bruce Wayne just still feels the same, and he should act different. Like, this is at the beginning of his career, but he did state that he is 2 years in, and you, at this point, you should be making sure you're doing things to make sure that you're, not doing anything to give yourself away. And to that note, as much as his Batman kind of grew on me, I wish that Robert Pattinson, hopefully for the sequel, will just put on just a little bit of muscle. Like, he's not out of shape in the movie by any means or scrawny, but he just feels a little bit small, especially because his version of the character is like this brawler. Like, he has multiple scenes where people are shooting at him, and he's not even attempting to dodge the bullets. He's just walking straight up to the dudes and beating the shit out of them. And it's super badass, don't get me wrong, but he's not a finesse version of the character at all. He's just kind of a brawler. And I think if you're going to do that version of the character, you need to beef him up just a little bit. And I mean, to the kind of physicality point as well, him learning his fighting from Alfred, it's just barely touched upon in the movie. I don't like that shit at all. Alfred has a military background for sure, but Batman's mythos kind of requires that he has a higher level of skill. Now, you don't have to go as deep in the comics where he's mastered like every single form of martial arts ever. And I thought that the Christopher Nolan movies did a really good job of showing that he had taken some fighting styles, and then the League of Shadows kind of built upon it with their own fighting styles and martial arts training. And they didn't do like a super expansive, like, oh, he knows everything, but it shows how he was able to engage so many people and captivate so many people with kind of this finesse side of the character. And so I'm fine with the brawler, but I just don't like that that's where he learned it. And I am open to that being expanded on in the sequels, where they'll do a flashback and it's like, oh yeah, before he was Batman, he did leave town and travel with these monks or whatever, however they want to do it. I'm open to it when the sequel comes out. If the sequel comes out, we'll see how everything goes with the James Gunn DC universe, because we know he doesn't super love competitors, but I don't know, I'm a lot more excited for this movie than I used to be. And it bothered me the first time I see it. I don't like when he is running away from the GCPD, the squirrel suit. It's been referred to online, dozens of times, and I don't like it. I like the, fighting on the cape and getting it like strapped under the boots somehow. Again, Christopher Nolan's Batman movies did that really well when they introduced like the tensile fiber that would become stiff with the electric current, and I thought that was a great way to do that. And it's realistic, and I do get it. I just don't like it. I think it looks kind of fucking silly. I think it's just silly looking, and I understand that it's practical effects and apparently was only touched up with CGI, and that's very impressive, but I just don't like his cape not functioning like that, because it just takes away one more reason away for him to have a cape. And a lot of capes in a lot of ways can be super impractical, but his always help him glide. A lot of times in the comics and I believe in the Dark Knight movies, they stated that it had weight at the bottom, so when he'd whip people with his cape, it had some power to him. And it does show him use his cape to kind of help him create space when he is running from the GCPD, so if it serves that function, then great, but it needs to serve multiple functions to kind of justify a superhero still having a cape. But I am kind of open to them, again, changing that in the sequel, maybe doing it a little better. Maybe if I saw it a second time, it wouldn't hit me as bad, because he really only has the one scene in the air. But I didn't love it. And the finale, I don't know, after the Riddler is in jail and Batman goes and has his talk with him in jail, I really do feel when you get to like that final scene that it just loses some steam, and I can't say for sure why. It's not that that scene isn't compelling, or not compelling, fun, I guess, because, Batman's beating people up, people are getting shot at, and so it just feels kind of, I don't know, like it took the sail out, even though it's more exciting than that talk or the wind out of the sail, even though it is more exciting than that talk that he has with the Riddler from a visual perspective. But I think it kind of plays into all, like, kind of my final issue with the movie, is I have no problem with a movie being long, but I do think this movie is just a little too long by maybe 10 to 15 minutes. Nothing too crazy, and there isn't a whole bunch that I would want to cut out, but I do actually think you could cut out that kind of final fight scene with the gunman and replace it with something that I think would fit the tone of the movie better, but still get the message across. Where basically he has kind of a longer talk with the Riddler, where it turns out the Riddler is just kind of keeping his attention preoccupied. You still have the bombs go off and flood Gotham, and Batman, can still have that realization while talking to the Riddler that the reason he overall lost, and yeah, he does kind of lose in this movie. Like, they do get the Riddler, but the town is flooded and it's in way worse shape than it was before. And the Riddler does kill every single target that he has. Batman is always one step behind him in the movie, but, he can still realize that he lost because he inspired vengeance. Like, that's the Riddler's whole thing, and even his followers. And like, you could have, those people still kind of exist as like a hateful presence online to show, potential instability in Gotham for the future movies. But I still think you cut him. In that talk, he realizes that he loses because he inspired vengeance, and can still have that realization that he needs to get out and give people hope. And because the bombs did still go off, town still flooded, you can still get that great scene of him helping that kid get picked up and flown out from the area that was flooded, because that is a great scene, and I think it's a really good note to end the movie on. But I think you can cut that fight out, just kind of expand on the talk with Riddler a little bit, have the damage set in, Batman realizes he loses, goes out, helps inspire hope, still all works. But that scene would conceivably be a lot shorter, the chat, because you don't want to drag it on too long, because then it just feels like a ton of exposition at the end of the movie. But I think that you would trim those 10-15 minutes out of the movie that I just think would significantly help it. So those are both kind of my positives and negatives of the movie. And I know that I did have quite a few negatives there, but on second watch, I really did love this movie. I think it's up there. I don't know if it's the best Batman movie. If I were to rank them, I would say it's probably... No, actually, you know what? I can do the Batman movies ranked in another video, so I'll save that later. But I will say that it's up there. It's definitely near the top of the list. I just don't know if it's at the top of the list. I'll probably have to watch it one more time, which I'm now more open to, and then as well as, rewatching all of the other ones. But let me know what you think about the Batman. Did you love it? Did you hate it? Do you agree with my pros and negatives? Or do you think that I kind of nailed it on the head? And, the whole premise of the movie was I wrong about the Batman, and I was very wrong. I was walking around telling people that it was, a C+ movie, probably a B- on its absolute best day, but I think it's, a Batman movie, A- on its worst day. So really, I was wrong about the Batman. It's fantastic. I love it. I'm excited to hopefully get more and see what they do, and would love to know what you all think. All right, I will see you in the next one. Bye.